So with the S&P 500 nearly down 8% already this year, this is turning out to be one of the worst Januaries in the stock market that we've seen in a long time. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you guys my latest stock portfolio and also go over some of the moves that I'll be making over the next number of months and pretty much over the whole year, because 2022 seems to not have too many positive catalysts going for it, so we could see some more pain in the markets, but that's not a time to sit back and just stay out of the market. This is where a lot of money can be made in the long term. So just before we jump into the portfolio, if you guys could take a second to drop a like on this video, it really does help out the channel. It only takes a second and helps push these videos to more people, and it will help us on our way to getting 5,000 subscribers. We're really closing in on that number, so it'll be great when we hit that. So I believe last time we did one of these portfolio updates, we were probably sitting around the 30,000 euro mark. I'll pull up the exact number here for when we last did the portfolio update, but we can just take a look here anyway on the charts. If I just go to the 3 month of my portfolio, and we can see that around, I even think as high as, even the 4th of January, which is probably about 3 weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago at this stage, the portfolio was sitting at about $35,000. And since then, I've invested about 1,400 euro, but we're still down quite a bit. So if anyone just came into this video and looked at that, they would think I'm doing something wrong. But in fact, the whole stock market, you'll notice if you're invested, has been pretty much on a big downturn. As I referenced at the start of this video, some stocks correcting as high as even 30% over the last number of weeks. But maybe this is your first time seeing one of my stock portfolios, so let's take a look at what I actually have in here, and I'll discuss some of the moves that I recently made, which are actually quite big in terms of my portfolio. So taking a look at my current allocation within the stock portfolio, we can see that Tesla has shot up from, I think, probably about 80% in the last update video to around 93% of my portfolio, and if that doesn't explain how bullish I am on Tesla, I don't know what will. And the next best to that would be Palantir, coming in at just under 5% there. And then we've got a couple of other, about 6 other stocks making up the remainder here. But obviously every other investment in this portfolio is currently dwarfed by the amount that I have in Tesla. So over these number of weeks, I've taken an opportunity to basically concentrate more into the stocks that I have the most conviction in. So for example, here I have 2 pies, my growth fund, and then I also have an additional growth fund. I believe this had maybe 2,000 or 3,000 in it last time we checked in, but what I've decided to do is take the money out of them stocks. A lot of these positions were actually even in the red, and I'll touch on that again in a minute, but basically decided to sell out of them, which maybe I didn't have as much conviction in. Obviously I believed in these stocks to a certain extent, but I just felt my money would be better put to use in Tesla, so I basically sold out 2,000 or 3,000 out of this pie and decided to put it into my growth fund pie, which only consists of Tesla and Palantir, weighted at 95% and 5%. So as I said, a lot of the stocks actually within this additional growth fund pie were in the red, and that's because I bought them pretty much what now in hindsight seems to be the top of the market for the last couple of months here, and then also we had this big correction. So as I said, a lot of them ended up maybe even 30% in the red. So what I decided to do is sell them. They're realizing a capital gains loss, which can be offset against future gains. So for example, in 2022, I'm currently minus 1,000 euro in realized losses. And as I said, while it may sound like a bad thing, these can just be offset against my profits within this year. So that will just mean I have less of a tax bill. So for example, if I sold 10,000 worth of realized gains in 2022, just giving a big number here for example, I would then subtract that 1,000 that I have in realized losses, leaving me with a 9,000 euro taxable gain there. Then I also have my 1,270 exemption to take off that, giving me around 7,800 or so. And then that is the figure that I would have to pay the 33% capital gains tax on. So yeah, let's take a look at some of the stocks that I actually have within this additional growth fund pie to give you an idea of some of the ones that I sold out of. So we have the likes of Apple here. Again, I'm a big fan of these and I will be planning to rebuy back into these stocks. But just for the minute, I thought with Tesla on a dip, it would be better to reallocate the money over there. But then we have Apple, Enphase Energy, Neo, Palantir, Affirm, Roblox, and then I've decided to add 3 new in and move some things around. So we've got Netflix in here, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs. A lot of you probably heard a lot about Netflix in the last number of weeks here. Basically, they really missed their guidance, probably came in about 50% under their guidance, if not even less than that. So it caused the stock to fall quite a bit. So I think this is possibly a good entry point to start dollar cost averaging in. And Netflix are a great company. I think they'll do really well over the next number of years, but I think they just need to revise their guidance and realize that they have a lot of the world already signed up to Netflix. So they can't possibly continue this type of user growth, but they can still continue to do very well and churn out some great profits. But anyway, yeah, as I said, I've added these 3 new stocks. I've decided to take Trade Desk out just for the fact that I don't really know enough about them. I'm sure you're looking at that 14 euro amount there. There was a bit more in that, but as I said, I pretty much sold out of all of this pie. and put it into Tesla. But yeah, I just don't really know too much about them, and it's something that I'm guilty of, and I tell people to make sure they do enough research into these individual stocks that when they go on a dip, you should be able to buy more. But on this one, I simply took a little bit more of a risk than I was comfortable with, I guess, or that I preach you should take, and I wasn't really comfortable in knowing the whole business model around trade desk. So decided to get rid of them, pivot into some bank stocks, which I think will do well this year. And with them, I've gone with Bank of America and Goldman Sachs, each at 5% allocation there as well. Now, all I have to do is simply click rebalance here, but it's currently the weekend, so I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do that on Monday, and then it'll basically just rebalance this pie. For example, there's 26% currently in end phase, and that will just allocate it into these bank stocks. Now, there's only a small amount in this pie at the minute, but as I said, I'll be planning to continue to dollar cost average into this pie over the course of this whole year. So in terms of stocks that I'm buying, this basket of stocks is currently my aim for the stocks that I'll be buying mostly in 2022. But of course, if I see any opportunities that I can pick up more Tesla and Palantir on dips, I'll be doing that as well. And speaking of them, let's just take a look at how we're looking in terms of Tesla stock right now. So you can see that in Tesla, I have a total investment of 24,446 euro right now, and we can see that there's currently an unrealized gain of 5.8 thousand there. You can see my average price in there at $677. And then all of my shares in Tesla equate to 32.2 shares, which I'm very happy with right now. It's definitely not for everybody when it makes up 95% of your portfolio, because for example, if Tesla stock drops $100, that will actually be a difference of $3,000 in my Tesla holdings. But on the other side, if it goes up by $100 or $200, that means that I'll have the same in terms of gain. So it's definitely one that you need to be emotionally prepared for when it's a bit of a volatile stock, which Tesla has been over the last number of months here. But when it works out very, very well. And Tesla is the only stock right now that in the market that I would be comfortable having this much money in, or this weight in my portfolio, because I just think their business model is absolutely amazing, and I'll touch on that again now in a few minutes. So before we touch into why I'm so bullish on Tesla stock, I just want to jump into my ETF portfolio quickly and go over what I have in here. I currently have just today I sent some more money into this account. I'm just waiting for it to land. So I'm going to buy 2 more shares of the S&P 500 as well, just to hedge against some of my individual stock picks. But yeah, as you can see here, I have 775 euro in the Buck Zero ETF portfolio. And with that, I'm just buying S&P 500. That's all I use this brokerage for. It's now brought in fractional shares. I'll leave a video link up here if you haven't seen the information on that, which I think is great. But for me, I'm just using Buck Zero for the ETFs because I think they're a great platform for that. So you can see I currently have 10 shares of the S&P 500, and it's just less volatile than having all my money in Tesla. Over the long term, I obviously think Tesla will do better, but it's just a bit of a hedge to have this S&P 500 ETF in here. If you're interested in signing up to either of them brokerages that I use, Trading 212, which I was showcasing first, and then Buck Zero, I'll leave links down in the description below where you can pick up free shares on either of them. And the stocks that you get on Trading 212 could be valued anywhere up to 100 euro, and on Buck Zero it could be valued anywhere up to 200 euros. So nothing to lose there. If you want to sign up, check the brokerages out, please do so. Anyway, coming back to Tesla and why I'm so bullish on them and willing to put 95% of my stock portfolio into Tesla, I just think that they're a company that is best positioned to profit in the future from so many different revenue streams. For example, they have their automotive industry, which people basically think that that's all they do. But in fact, if you dig a little deeper, there's so much more that they do. They also have their solar and energy business. They're also expanding their insurance business. And I'm sure you've seen recently, they're now moving into basically AI technology and robots. Now you may think that all of these things are just completely random and how can one company do that, but essentially Tesla is poising itself to be one of the best AI companies for the future. I mean, who else better to do it than Elon Musk and Tesla, and they're hiring all of the best talent around. If you're one of the smartest engineers, not only in America, but even across the world, or really interested in AI technology, where are you going to want to work? Any of these legacy companies that are really slow moving? Or would you look at somewhere like Tesla that are just absolutely changing the game and provide you with the tools to make the biggest impact in your space? That's one of the reasons why Tesla is so good, is because they're able to attract that top talent. But anyway, moving back to that, so with the whole AI aspect of Tesla, that's essentially what they're trying to do with the Tesla autonomous driving. That's all based around AI and machine learning that just continues to get better and will eventually be better than even human drivers, making our roads way safer. Now on the earnings call, Elon Musk actually said they believe that they'll have full self-driving solved by 2022, so the end of this year. Now some of you may point out he's been saying that for a little bit of time, but you can't deny the facts that things are definitely improving at a fast rate, Personally, I don't think it will be as early as this year, but in the next 2 or 3 years, I think they'll be well on their way to solving full self-driving, and who knows, it could even happen earlier. And as I said, Tesla is pretty much the leader in this space, so not only will they have full self-driving for their cars, but they'll be able to license this software to other auto manufacturers who simply will not be able to catch up, which means that's more revenue for Tesla. Then when we look at the Tesla bot, I think this is an absolutely revolutionary idea, and obviously it's quite scary when you think of the likes of iRobot and AI turning evil and turning against you. But when you think about it, a lot of necessary jobs right now are actually very manual, laborious, and just plain old boring for a lot of people that have to do them. Humans are capable of so much, and to have them doing such laborious tasks is really a waste of their potential intelligence. So that's where the Tesla AI bots will come in and essentially take over all of these laborious tasks, and essentially a way to just advance society and just automate more things that don't need human attention. And when you think about how Tesla could generate the revenue from this, I mean, the labor market, especially for that type of work, is absolutely crazy big. So Tesla could definitely tap into quite a bit of that. And when you think about their competition, I mean, there's just no other companies right now that are working on these kind of things that have as much resources available and talent in their team as Tesla. Now, I appreciate a few people watching this think that is absolutely years out, not in the next 5 or 10 years, even beyond that, and that's fair for you to think so, but let's just see how it turns out. I personally believe in Tesla, and as I said, if there's any company that has the skills and resources to do it, it is them, and I think it's just something that needs to happen for the advancement of the human race. So as of now, it's impossible to put accurate figures on all of these things, all of the different revenue streams that Tesla can incorporate. But all I know, if I were to pick one company that's doing the most exciting things in the world and where I think the world needs to transitions to in terms of renewable energy, in terms of electric cars, and in terms of automating a lot of laborious processes, I think Tesla is a no-brainer. So for me, any chance I get to pick up Tesla under $900 in the next couple of months and I have some cash on the sidelines, I will definitely be doing that. And if people are still referring to Tesla as only a car company, I think they're really missing the trip on this one and potentially missing out on the stock of a lifetime. A lot of people are referencing the kind of misconception in Tesla to around 2012, 2013, where no one really saw the potential of what they could become. And again, it's happening now because people are seeing them only as a car company and essentially overlooking all of the other aspects of Tesla and all of the other ways that they can make money. Personally, I think Tesla could go as high as $5,000 a share as soon as 2025, which would be over a 5x from here, and some people even have higher estimates than that. Of course, nothing is guaranteed and this isn't financial advice, so please make sure you do all your own research. Anyway guys, that's going to cover it for this video. Make sure you do stay tuned and I'll cover off my cryptocurrency moves that I'm making for the 2022 market, because not only are stocks falling, cryptocurrency is also falling, but as I said, that's where the most money can be made in the long term. So if you did enjoy this kind of video, make sure you do drop a like in it. Really do appreciate all your support on the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel as well, and I'll catch you guys in another video.